This is my Bob Doyle Show face. It's a little bit different than the face I use the rest of the day, which is just the Bob Doyle face. How is it different, you may say? That's a fair question. All right, so this is my Bob Doyle face. This is my Bob Doyle Show face. This is my Bob Doyle face. Now, it's a subtle difference, but if you hold them side by side, which we don't have the technology to do right now, you will see that there is a difference. Which one is your favorite? Type 1 for... It's the Bob Doyle Show. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, but the Bob Doyle Show wouldn't be the Bob Doyle Show if it weren't for my lovely and talented co-host. Let's bring her in here before the theme is even done. Please welcome Tracy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the planet.
So what makes
I don't really
you...
have to say that.
No, you don't, but you do, and I'm wondering why you do it.
I don't know. That's a very
Is it a
great
Truman Show
question.
thing? Didn't he used to good afternoon, good morning, good
Honestly,
afternoon, good
you know,
afternoon, and good
it
night,
was
or whatever?
a great movie, but I don't remember.
It's pretty much what we're living in, don't you think?
Well.
So if that's the premise, then I'm Truman, and you're an actress, actor. You act. This is all a facade, just like in the movie. I gotta say, you do a very good job.
I do.
Of pretending that you have fond feelings for me.
But I like you.
Yeah, it's like I'm pretty convinced, and I think most of the other people, but the other people are actors too, all here for my behalf.
Right, everyone, the entire world, your entire world.
There's a microphone over here, and there's not one at all over
well,
there.
I was putting on my. It was just,
Hey, this is show business. Okay, we don't. It's you can put on your makeup. We're pretty lax around here.
Good morning,
I
Kathy.
changed my glasses like 5 times during a show, but not this time. This time these are going to stay on here. Now, are these any of the dollar store? I guess they are. They're early purchase. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know what those are.
You bought these for me.
But those are the broken ones.
They are broken, but no one can tell. And, although I have admitted it.
That those are. Well, it does not matter. So how is everyone today?
How's everybody? I
We
switched
switched
positions.
yes.
That's right. We did so that she doesn't have to do the crawl over.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, we're going to change everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Everything.
But
It's
somehow
on
we
our
still have
list.
to incorporate. You know what we can do in the new set?
What's that?
We can have like a picture frame behind us. The picture always changes, and it's always the video of like whatever the scene is.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So we can homage this, and maybe same with the. I don't know how we're going to do it. I really don't know.
We're just going to have fun and play.
That's right. Well, ladies,
Yes.
gentlemen, are there any gentlemen?
Boys and girls?
Are there any gentlemen? If you're a
Probably not
gentleman
boys and
watching
girls.
this, just even if it's on the replay, just type "I'm a gentleman." I mean, you don't have to be a gentleman in that you throw your jacket down in a mud puddle and stuff like that. That's not what I mean. Nobody does that. I would do it for her though.
Oh, but it just seems like such a waste. Like, why would you do that? Because then.
So the bottom of your shoes get less mud on them.
Okay, but to clean the coat afterwards, it's like you just potentially throw it away because it's going to be so disgusting.
Could you whisper more?
I could. Would you like me to talk like this?
We're gonna do this, I guess, tomorrow. This is my mom's favorite thing, by the way.
You're right.
She came in just at the right time for us to do her
Hi, Mom.
favorite thing. I know what you're saying, everyone. You're saying, Bob, what's the deal? Is this VR Thursday or what?
It is, and we are so excited because we have a really cool interview.
But we can't do anything about anything until we ring for coffee.
Oh. Ooh, there you go.
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen.
Right? Hold on. I have one too somewhere.
Now, does everyone have a beverage at home where we can raise a... Look at my mother. Look at her. Look.
I see.
What did she say?
She said not.
See, you're not looking.
Yeah, she
You're
does
looking
not
at the
like
camera.
ASMR. Yum.
Yeah, man.
I have the
Now, if
Trader
you-
Joe lavender almond.
Let me. I know it's
yeah,
not
blueberry,
Friday.
Yummy. It is not.
But Friday's leaking into all of our shows. But if your morning beverage doesn't make you go like this. Okay, well, she jumped the gun a little. I was. then you're drinking the wrong morning beverage.
You're so adorable.
There you go. Proof. It's right there recorded. I am so adorable. Not
are.
liking the whispers. What? Okay. Now it's starting to sound like a personal problem.
She's drinking orange, pineapple, and banana juice. That sounds really luscious.
Okay. It does sound luscious. All right. Folks, here we are again on Thursday, and Thursday and Tuesday are both invitations for all sorts of technical nightmares, but not today.
You just put that out there into the universe.
We are playing it
These
safe.
days, we may have technical issues. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying
Yeah,
anymore.
don't do that. That's not, no. We don't want technical issues. We say it's like perfect, right? Technically perfect.
It's like technically perfect, right?
Technically perfect.
I'm just making sure I get the verbiage right.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I can do this. I can do this. What do you guys think we do, like, let's say 6 minutes before the show? What do you think we're doing?
Great question.
Are we like, it's okay, last minute, here we go. And then we look at each other and we go, okay, we got this. We got this. We got this. No, you're awesome. No, you're awesome. Is that what you think? Because we do not do that.
No, we did not do that.
What's generally happening is that I'm in the next room looking at the clock going, 2 minutes. Okay,
And I'm
well,
usually downstairs making coffee.
That's right. It used to be that I was sitting here 10 minutes before the show going, okay, here we go. And now it's like, oh my God, we go live in 10 seconds? Well, I hope this button will work. That's kind of how it is. Now, it doesn't mean I don't love and adore each and every one of you and that I don't care. I do. Oh, I care. But I just like to think, why stress over it? All right, you know what? We were more on topic when we were talking about how this is all the Truman Show for me. Now we're just off the rails. Tracy, why do you let me do this?
Because it's
In
fun.
25 words or less. Oh, that was 3 words. Very good.
It's fun.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so
Here we
yes,
are.
are you
Okay.
ready? 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 I'm so excited to tell.
My
you
throat
all
just
this.
wants to keep producing things. Okay. So, I've been talking in the background. You may have heard me talk about it. You may not have. You may have heard me tease this, but here we go. About this software called Soundself. Now, I learned about this through our friend Craig Goldberg, who with the
Holistic Health Science
yes,
and
the Sound Lounge and all that. He was the one who told me about. Oh, wait, I've got these friends who are working on a software program that uses your own voice that feeds back through to create, audio and visual things,
Your experience.
and it runs through the Sound Lounge. So I'm thinking, okay, that sounds freaking awesome, right? So I'm going to have some sort of experience with a VR headset. I'm going to be on the lounge, and my voice is going to drive it somehow. So, cut to, I get an early version of or earlier. I think it's really been around. I saw a YouTube video from a 2016 version before it was VR.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's come a long way. But so I got it, and in 2 words, it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's really awesome.
Okay, that's
So
more than
awesome.
2, but it's the words "it's" and "awesome" are in there.
Well, it's is
And a
really
certain
too
number of ti-
technically.
It is.
It is.
It's. You're right. It is.
English language is
All
fun.
right. So, laid down on the bed, did the whole thing, and like, oh my God. Now that was a couple of months ago or so when I first tried it,
Yep.
and that's when I first started talking about it and all that stuff. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to share it with you. So, since that time, they've updated and updated and updated and
Some
updated,
amazing updates.
and now it's really awesome. Where it's really awesome. So just a couple. Now here's the thing. What I wanted to do obviously was show you what it looks like with me doing it and how it works. But I don't know what's going on with technology these days, but certain programs are not letting me record my screens,
Right.
or vice versa, or something. I couldn't do it. But I did find a YouTube video that sort of demonstrates it. It is not the current version. It's still cool, and you get the idea. But since it's not explained how it works, I'm going to do that now. Is that okay?
That's okay with
I
me.
hope you guys like my voice enough, because. So literally, it's the premise is this: you put on the headset, and it's basically a meditation
Very much.
tool.
Yeah.
It's a meditation tool that gets you really, really present, and you're driving the whole thing with your voice. So there's some instruction at the beginning about toning, because the sound that you're putting into this thing is basically toned, and it can be anything that you vocalize. It can be a like that, ooh, ah, words, whatever. As long as it's being picked up by the microphone, the software takes that, depending on the frequency of it or whatever, it does two things. Well, three things. It drives the visuals, which you'll see are very psychedelic, changes color, intensity, pattern, the whole thing. It also determines the music that's playing. The music is not just some soundtrack that runs in the background. It is decided by what you do.
Your voice.
So when you sing, if you can, let's say you don't have perfect pitch or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't.
Whatever you sing, the music will go with that. And you can change keys right in the middle if you know music. And that changes the tone of the whole thing. Now this is multi-layered, as you'll see, with the instruments. And the since this demo that I'll show you, in fact, you know what, we'll run it in the background. That's what I meant to do anyway. Hold on a second.
Okay.
All right, here's what I got done. I'm going to find this first, and then I'm going to play it.
Good morning, Mom. Hi, Mom. Moms.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. There we go. Okay.
All right.
Now let me adjust the music a little. Okay. So now in the background, you can hear kind of what it sounds like. I've just joined in the middle of a session. This is not recorded through VR. There's no movement. But if you were in a VR headset, obviously you would feel like you were in this. It's all around you in very three-dimensional depth and psychedelic and so on. The music that you hear, you'll hear the guy hum. Hold on. You can kind of hear it, but when he really does it, you'll hear, and it'll drive the music and the visual. So then all the effects, you can hear the music. It's in the exact pitch and key that he sings in.
It's luscious.
And so you can see he dipped off there at the end. It's not about being a great singer or anything. It's just about so now he's going higher. Now he doesn't, in this video, he doesn't actually vary the pitch, the key much, which I love to do when I'm in there. And when you're on there we go. So imagine that in stereo, obviously. So it's the music is amazing, and then of course the depth of all of this. You're in this thing. So my experience with it is that I was a little timid at first because I don't like to. It takes wild horses to get me to sing anyway, let alone putting this thing on when there might be somebody around and they can't hear what I'm hearing, and meanwhile I'm just going in the room. Right? So you're a little self-conscious about that. But about 2 minutes in, when you realize that
it's magical.
See that? Hear that female voice? So that's driven by him. So if I sing higher, it'll drive a whole female voice in the background. And you can do things like go and it'll just go freaking crazy. So
true.
that's basically. Oh, hi, look.
Ah!
Wait a minute. Why did I do that?
our
No, I need to do
mini-me's.
this. Hello, little Tracy.
It's our mini-me's.
Hello, little Bob. Just keep trying. All right, let's get rid of that, as adorable as it is. So that's how it works. Let's see what we got a good morning, not liking the whispers. So no one said anything about it. My mom's her comment about the whispers is still up there. So that's the software. But our interview this morning,
I'm so excited to bring him on,
is with Lyle Max, and he is with. Hold on a second. He is with. Hold on a second. He is with. Hold on a second. He is with Andromeda Andromeda Entertainment, who created this and other software, which we will learn about. And so I'd like you to meet him right now. So let's put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Lyle, thanks for being here. I appreciate your appearance.
So grateful. Thank you for being here. Tell us more.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
So just so you know, we've told the audience already, but Tracy and I just went through, we just did some sessions with the Soundself software this week. Now, you guys have been constantly updating this since its initial release. And since she first tried it, it has come a long way.
Oh my gosh, so
with the visuals
great.
and the audio, and the experience has just gotten even better. And and I'm just doing it sitting up on my chair. I'm not even laying down. We have the sound lounge, and it works with that too, as we've talked about.
Which is an incredible experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you guys have done now, I'm sitting there going through it, and I said, "Oh, this sound healer I know needs to try this." And all of these people just started like I actually started seeing faces within the things of just like of sharing it, because it opens up your like emotional state as well. I mean, it's very meditative in nature, and it's so powerful. I just your voice comes through and it leads you into places that is magical.
Of course, you know all this already.
Well, right, you know this. But I'm just sharing, like, I love this so much.
So I know, I play with a lot of toys, and I play with them mostly because they're just freaking cool. And like the Sound Lounge has the healing properties.
Right.
This has all sorts of amazing, science behind it, and I want to talk about that. I would love for you to address, besides the fact that it's just cool and it's doing something with your voice, talk a little bit about what's driving this whole project.
Yeah, so the kind of the background is that it's a vagus nerve stimulation. So when you're toning or oming, chanting, you're really dropping your body into that parasympathetic nervous system, which is where you get the relaxation and the different brainwave states like alpha and theta. A big component of that too is we did a pilot study recently that showed that the default mode network in your brain is actually turning off. So it's very similar to a psychedelic experience in those ways. The heightened brainwave states from the theta and alpha frequencies, and then also that shutdown of more of your ego-driven mind is very, very similar to taking like a large dose of psilocybin. But what's interesting is that it only lasts as long as the headset's on.
That's right.
So yeah,
Bonus.
that was our initial pilot study, and now we're starting to dive into doing something more extensive. But it's all being prioritized.
So this is something that is a VR application, but it can also be used just on a desktop. Isn't that correct?
Yes. Yeah, you could use it even on your MacBook. What I really like to do is plug it into a projector too. So like even those little $100 mini projectors that you can get on Amazon, you can plug that in and make it massive on any wall, and it's almost just as good as being in a VR headset.
So I talk a lot about using it with the Sound Lounge, and I know you're familiar with that. I don't know if you know enough technically about that subwoofer option is something that you turn on and off in the software. And I'm just curious if you can tell me like what is actually the difference? What's happening when you turn that option on, and does it have any impact on someone who doesn't have something like this?
Good question.
Yeah, it's just to heighten the experience, because there is a lot of different haptic solutions too. Like we love the Sound Lounge, but the price point isn't as consumer friendly as say like a Sub Pack, or our newest partners are the Woozer Vest.
I'm fascinated with them. Yes, the Woozer looks fantastic.
And what's cool about that is it's a strap. So they do have a backpack version as well, but the strap makes it to where you can lay down on your back and not have something huge that you're lying on, like a turtle that's flipped upside down. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that, and the strap could be used sitting up or anyway. And I know that Craig and the Holistic Health Science crew now has the cushion that they're coming out with, which would work just as well. So yeah, all different haptic solutions. The subwoofer just like provides that extra bass, which I found really profound. Initially getting started on the project, because you're actually able to feel your own voice for like probably the first time.
When you make that connection of I'm doing something and you're feeling it, when you get a couple of times of that, and I think that's the whole experience is like, I know that when I did it and when I put most people in it, they're a little timid, at first with toning, and because it feels kind of weird, that there's people in the room and you're going, ooh, or whatever you're doing, but it only takes a couple of minutes before you forget all of that.
And you're just so into it.
And you will just start being creative and start feeling and seeing the impact of what you're doing with your voice. There's really just nothing like that kind of feedback. It is without comparison, for sure.
Yeah, and I think with the visuals too, because it's sort of control. It's controlled by your voice, right? So things come in and out, and it just makes it so psychedelic.
So, very psychedelic. So talk about, you mentioned that, this was sort of the beginning of a journey, I guess. And before we started talking, and I've been to the website for Soundself, and there's a video there, and there's a whole concept of gaming for good. Can you talk a little bit about what's sort of behind this whole philosophy of this and future projects?
Yeah, of course. So our first title that we launched was called Audio Trip, and it just came out on the Quest as well, and that's all around ecstatic dance. So it's basically the opposite of Soundself, where you're inducing more of a flow state through dancing, and you're grabbing gems, and we've licensed a bunch of music with Universal, so we have like Skrillex and Lady Gaga and all sorts of very large artists that you could dance to. So that's, really when we think of games for good, it's either in the mindfulness space or in the wellness space. So it's either connecting you more to your body or connecting you more to, mental health and your mind. So, our next few titles, we can't really speak too much about, but it's definitely along the same level. But, our main goal is to appeal to the mainstream. So, we want to have adventurous, enjoy, fun type of experiences that kids will want to download, and then they have like these esoteric undertones that, that they're learning real world skills that they could apply in their day-to-day life when they get out of the VR headset. So Soundself is very much on one side, it is like we coined it as a technodelic. It was kind of our like flag in the ground for what the future of immersive entertainment can be. But our next two titles will be more of like a mainstream appeal around that. And we start geeking out about like what biosensor integration looks like people wearing Apple Watches and Aura rings and Fitbits, and how that can now we're seeing that it could Bluetooth hook up to a VR headset where you don't have to buy any additional hardware, and your biorhythms could actually impact the game. And that has all sorts of really cool components when it comes to looking at, your stress levels or how excited your cortisol spikes, and, actually being able to control your HRV, your heart coherence, your brain coherence on a more, regular basis.
I have played with some technology that is about that, that way back in the day, the Wild Beyond, I don't know,
Divine.
Yes.
Wild
Divine, right. The very first experience of having, your brainwave state basically impact something in the physical. And then there's been other things since then. I remember my son has like some sort of Jedi thing where you could, move a ball around with your mind. And so, excuse me. So so the technology is there already, but to do that kind of thing in an immersive environment,
that's exciting.
That I cannot wait. That is craziness. I'm all over that. Well, talk a little bit. You mentioned it, and I remember when it came across the radar, and I think our mutual friend Craig jumped on it. But this dance thing, I didn't tell her about it because I knew she'd be all over it. I'm way too uptight for an ecstatic dance app.
I got it. Okay, tell me.
But talk a little bit about it because I'm sure we'll grab it.
Yeah. So I'm not honestly. That's like one of the only spiritual practices that I wouldn't say that I'm a huge fan of. I'm starting to ease into ecstatic dance more, but I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you, Bob. So so with this, you don't even realize that you're dancing. You get into the experience, you understand that in order for you to actually score a high, unlike Soundself where there isn't really a gamified aspect of a high score, with this there very much is. So as soon as you start moving and grabbing these different gems as they're flying at you, it's a full body experience, and you are burning so many calories, and you're fully immersed. And as soon as you play it for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, you really do drop into this flow state where it's just another form of meditation in itself.
All right, I'm in.
I knew she would be too.
We can download this now. This is.
What's the title again? Is what?
Audio Trip.
Audio Trip, right?
Oh yeah.
It definitely caught my attention at first.
So here's the thing: dance, you got me. Gamify, you got him.
That's right,
so
and that's true.
It's true.
I will do it for the
and
gamification stuff too.
anti-competition.
We'll see. Well, that's great. I'm glad you brought that up. But that is a
awesome.
strictly VR experience, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's full
Right.
body and it's tracking your all of that.
That's
Well, that's super
Yeah, so
cool.
Soundself is unique because it was developed since 2012. So, the ability for it to run on PC and Mac kind of was its origin. Where, I mean, everything else that we're going to bring to market, um, at least into the next year or so, will be VR specific.
Well, it's awesome. I love the direction you're going, and certainly Soundself has been like just
awesome.
I mean
Just
I freaking love it, and we we really are excited about sharing it, not just with the general public, but we know all these sound healing type of people,
it's
a-
true.
and just so many people for whom this would be great to integrate into what they're doing. So it's just super cool. So thanks for sharing that and the
Yeah.
technology and
So
holding
amazing.
out on us with your future plans, getting us
Yeah,
just baiting
yeah,
us.
like just little carrots.
I can give you a little something. I mean, with Soundself, there's two things. So you talked about different meditators and sound healers and all sorts of therapists and things that really want to use this application. And we're actually going to start embedding other voices in the guided experience. So different famous meditators and breathwork instructors. We're going to. That's kind of the plan over the next 6 months is to integrate these type of instructors into the experience. So you'll be hearing their lesson before and after, or even during, where you could like fade out of the toning experience and go back into dropping into your body and into your breath, and then go back into the experience. So
Well, I think
we want to have a lot of fun around that.
we should definitely talk about what kind of content we might be able to provide along those lines. It's
Absolutely.
just something to think about. Okay.
You
Yeah.
never know.
Well,
anyway.
the other thing that I definitely feel I need to mention is we're creating. There's not the working title is a sensory pod. We haven't actually got the name down yet, but the prototype is done in like almost a week. July 1st, it should be done. And what this is a fully encapsulated projection mat dome that fits about 3 people inside, and that has a haptic floor. So a bunch of transducers, a vibrational floor, and you actually don't need the VR headset. So it'll be projection out onto the ceiling. So it's basically like this, communal womb type experience. And then we're talking about integrating biosensors, and there'll be basically a dashboard that has more than just Soundself as interactive biofeedback experiences that you could just select, very user friendly. So we're kind of getting rid of the VR headset in the future, because a lot of our experiences don't require you to move. It doesn't require your hands at all. It's all about your body's biorhythms, and being able to use that data to project.
Well, we want to
definitely
beta test everything.
Everything.
That's just for
So
the record.
Yeah, send
you
it
ever
on
need
over, and we'll.
that?
Oh my gosh, we're so
unlocked.
in. That's incredible.
That
I
sounds
totally
super
want to
cool.
include that in some of our luscious.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I know you weren't supposed
Yeah,
to,
cool.
and only everybody knows now. So good luck with explaining that to the
everybody.
head.
Only
Anyway, no,
everybody,
this is
everybody.
great. Lyle, thanks, man. This is
Oh my
so
God,
super great. I hope
amazing.
that we, as things get released and updated, and you do more things, I hope you'll come back and we'll get a chance to share more of what Andromeda's up to, because we love it.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll talk to you
Well,
soon.
thank you, guys. Yeah, I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you,
So-
loves. Thank you. Thank you. Talk to Incredible.
Sometimes we turn on a microphone, and sometimes, yes, other times we don't.
True.
She says it's 'cause I can't. I say I can. She says I will. I say I won't.
And that.
I had to
So
wrap
adorable.
it up. I had
Oh
to.
my gosh. So Lyle, thank you so much. I am so excited for the dome.
The pod thing is the sensory pod.
Oh.
That's really like.
That's next.
Seriously,
that's-
when I was like in college, I remember doing sketches of like what I considered to be sort of a virtual reality machine. It was more like a video arcade game thing that you'd sit in, like those cabinets where you get
Yeah,
in, and it was kind of
sure.
you're in it. So it was kind of more like that. So there wasn't a headset per se, but it was the same idea that you're just surrounded by the thing. And this was before I had any thought of haptics or whatever. But it's just so cool that it's cool to me.
Yes.
that all that stuff I used to imagine about is like happening.
It's true. Well, I mean, technology in general. I mean, this is like the Jetsons. So, I can.
That's right. The Jetsons couldn't even conceive of an iPhone. That's too much. That's craziness.
Didn't they have the watch, though?
What year is the Jetsons take place?
I don't know. That's a really great question.
Let's ask Alexa.
Okay.
Alexa, what year did the Jetsons take place? She's going to tell me what year the cartoon.
1992.
That is not 1992.
Wait a minute. It could be.
92?
Well, they didn't know when they created the Jetsons that it wasn't going to look like that in 92. I'm saying...
No, we were kids when the Jetsons
No, not the series. My question is about when did it take place, not when did it air. Like, what is the year in the land of the Jetsons?
Fascinating.
And I'm wondering if it's 1992, because that's what she said. And that's certainly not the answer to when did it air. I mean, it was like the 70s and the 60s or whatever it was. So was the Jetsons the vision of 1992?
We're still not there yet. Although we're close. A lot of different things. Yeah, but that for sure is not.
Yeah, but that's going to happen.
Oh, well, it's not that it's not possible.
Look, we got treadmills in our house.
Lobbyists for oil.
We've got video phones and screens.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Now,
we have the watches. I mean, the Apple Watch.
We have Roombas. It's kind of like a robot maid.
Kind of.
But we have all sorts of automated kitchen accessories that
it's true
are somewhat robotic.
Yeah, and we do have 3D printers, which is pretty incredible.
Did they have those in the Jetsons in 1992?
They had the food where you just say you want a bowl of spaghetti and you just zaps and there's a bowl of spaghetti.
Now, would you eat that food, Tracy?
Well,
because you're not even a GMO. It would be DMO, digitally modified, whatever.
I can't imagine that it is good for your body.
How do you know? It's all energy. If scientists learn to synthesize the energy that creates the molecules that are the building blocks, the amino acids, etc., and can create them basically out of thin air with a computer program by just rearranging energy, because it never dies, it's just transformed. So it just transforms some of the stray energy, like my earlobe energy. It turns into not a steak. Nope.
Well, but here's the thing:
salad.
If there's no soul attached to that steak, or
maybe you can download souls from a website.
Oh yeah, that's good. Nice.
Yeah. Why not?
Nice. Yeah, I'm it's like the GMO thing, oh, we can feed lots of people, but, the nutritional value is not there. Our bodies can't process it because it's, not.
Is that true?
Mother Nature made.
Is that really true?
I mean, or it is, but it's modified, it is true.
Well, we modify
That's
everything.
Why I don't
Modification is part of
the human experience.
Yes, it is. It's sort of evolution, etc. Look, everything. Well, not
like
really,
because
obviously,
right? Like everybody microwaves, but then we find out that microwaves the waves themselves are harmful.
But everything of the earth,
and it modifies
everything on the earth is of the earth.
Molecular structure of the food to a negative.
Everything on the earth is of the earth, unless it's not. If you get my alien hint, everything came from this dirt ball with metal and water, everything, including genetically modified food and the ability to make it.
Fascinating.
So everything's natural. Everything came from the earth, unless it didn't. Now, right now, a little Jetson spaceship going across
that would be
would
so
be
good.
the
It's too bad we don't have something.
That would have been a slam dunk ending.
We
It would
did
have
not
tied everything
plan
up.
this
But see, that's the problem with an ad lib show.
Yeah.
You don't know that's going to happen. But if we had that dream producer that we
Right.
mentioned a few episodes ago, that guy or gal would say, "Oh, they're talking about the Jetsons. I got to find it because I can go put it right across the window."
Yeah.
At the end. Like, and this producer would even type us a little chat message that says, "Bring up the Jetsons one more time." Or bring up something more, and then we just trust him.
It's on the 300 wish list.
It's not yet.
No?
I forgot. I didn't write it down.
Well, how do you expect to manifest it if you don't write
Hey,
it
I've got
down?
lots of things. You weren't on my 300 wish list.
Well, you were on mine.
Not by name, though.
Yes, you were.
Well, my name was on a different part of the list.
It was a different list, but I still had you on a list, ironically.
People who look like Bob Saget. That was the list that she had. have
Oh
one person.
my gosh. All right. Well, we love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Lyle, for an amazing conversation and tidbit into all the fun stuff that you guys are up to. Really want to have you back. I really want to try the dome.
Tell them you love them.
Yeah, we love you guys. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. for
Luscious Living Friday.
Friday.
It's like this, only more luscious.
Yes.